So we were doing philosophy of the mind, right?
Oh, yeah, it's better. Okay, yeah, we could do philosophy of the mind.
Just to
Okay,
be clear,
so
somebody record this because I am not recording.
yeah, I'm recording
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
you can get the power body.
I'm already recording on OBS, but so we can get power blind. Okay, so here,
Yeah. All right.
do you wanna give the argument for reductive physicalism, or should I give the argument against reductive physicalism?
I'll give the argument for reductive physicalism.
Okay.
So,
Wait,
yeah, I'll give the.
do you have it like in a premise conclusion format?
Oh my God, yeah, sure.
Okay. Just send it in like a side chat or something.
Yeah. All right, let me just cook some up real quick. All right. P1. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, let's see. All right. P1 would it be reductive physicalism does not posit extra entities.
Wait, where did you
Okay,
send
I
it?
know what you said. No, I didn't send it. I'm like, okay, I know where I'm sending it. Okay, here.
Okay, because I just think like sending it is just gonna be the best thing to do.
This bracket, like for the tournament, is like a bracket of hell. Like it's actually
Yeah.
like
It's actually it's actually just gonna be like lever. This is why I don't like doing tournament debates without a judge, or at least a median judgment,
Okay,
because
so did you send
you
it?
know,
Okay, so
yeah, because now I'm gonna have to wait for
wait,
for
so
me to move on to the
here,
tournament.
what type of parsimony or what account of parsimony are you gonna be using here?
Yeah, the type of parsimony I'm going to be using is ontological parsimony. If you need me to clarify what that is, I can do that as well.
Yeah, what do you take ontological parsimony to be?
So, let's see, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a bang, bang. So, okay, when I say ontological parsimony, I'm just referring to like it positing less entities, or okay, that's actually a bad way to say it. Okay, when I talk about like ontological parsimony, I'm just saying that this thing, um, references less epistemic entities when explaining about a similar thing. So, for example, I'm just saying reductive physicalism only posits one entity, with that being, the mind, and not extra mental bodies that, any other position would posit.
So wait, so is the conclusion here that reductive physicalism is true, or reductive physicalism is probably true based off of the fact that it has more ontological parsimony than any other competing hypothesis?
I mean, you can read like the thing, but I mean, all it's saying is,
No, I was
it's
just asking
favored
like
by
what the
positive.
conclusion of the argument would be. So are you concluding that reductive physicalism is true? Are you saying that
Okay.
reductive physicalism is probably true?
Oh my God. So if ontological parsimony is just saying that like the existence of fewer entities or kinds of entities is better than one that entails, the existence of more entities or kind of entities, you know, then I just think the conclusion follows if we were to finish this debate, or at least if the debate was to conclude, right, that reductive physicalism is favored by this type of parsimony, which just states that my argument makes less assumptions.
But don't you also think that we should factor in explanatory power and compatibility with our other previous beliefs? So, for example, in response to this argument, a dualist or somebody who believes that all mental states aren't going to be reducible to uh, physical states or physical processes would just say that it seems that a dualist theory of mind would have more explanatory power and compatibility with other theories or beliefs that we hold. So, for example, a dualist could say that their hypothesis is more compatible with a belief in abstract objects, or their hypothesis is more compatible with a belief in other non physical objects that other theories might posit, and they'll also try and say that it can adequately explain things like qualia and consciousness, and why it seems that qualia and consciousness have some kind of first person introspective aspect to them rather than a third person a non-introspective aspect to them. So it seemed that the dualist or a dualist position would have much more explanatory power and compatibility with previous beliefs that one may hold than reductive physicalism. So I don't see why ontological parsimony is going to be the thing that matters the most here.
Yeah, okay, Rizzhan, this is the thing, right? Your argument, or at least that whole rebuttal, just presupposes that you have an entity in your stance which I can't explain. And if you're talking about explanatory power in the sense that your okay, your thing can account for more things than mine in this instance. I mean, that's still just gonna be the same rebuttal applied there. I mean,
No,
I don't really
so
see.
no,
I mean,
so
okay, wait.
again,
If that's not what you mean, can we get a semantical breakdown on the word, or at least the phrase, right? Explanatory power.
so by explanatory power, I just mean that it explains a certain phenomena X better than other competing hypotheses.
Okay, and then okay, so that still follows, right? Because what you mean by better? I mean, you know, what, yeah. I'll just ask this: what do you mean by explaining something better?
So
What
I
does it mean
basically
to
just
do that?
mean that there's not going to be some kind of epistemic or ontological gap in the hypothesis or explanation it provides for a certain phenomena. So for example, when a
Oh,
flat
okay, yeah. So, no, I understand, right? So you're just saying for some phenomena out there that's a mental state, reductive physicalism doesn't account for it. But then I'll just ask you, what phenomena is that?
No, so I'm not saying that reductive physicalism doesn't account for mental states. I'm
No,
saying
let's
that
go based on what you
reductive
said. So
physicalism.
what phenomena does it not account for?
I'm saying that for things like the knowledge argument, in which the dualist would claim that it seems that we can gain knowledge of the physical state without gaining knowledge of the mental state and vice versa, and therefore they wouldn't be identical. It definitely seems that the dualist or a dualist theory of mind would have much more explanatory power in explaining things like how we acquire knowledge of mental states and physical states, and how qualia and how consciousness would come to be. But it definitely seems that there's going to be a gap in the ontology of a physicalist theory of mind and in the epistemology of a physicalist theory of mind. That's just what a dualist would say.
Okay, one, you might need to like lower your mic again because like unless a car just rolled by, your mic is like very loud. Or and two, your argument, as I said, I mean my rebuttal is going to be the same because I don't think you said anything different. You're saying that explanatory power in this sense means to not have a gap in explaining certain phenomena, or at least pertaining to this topic. So I'm going to use an example here, right? By explanatory power, you mean if substance dualism can explain things like qualia, and let's say reductive physicalism doesn't, it has more explanatory power. Yes or no?
Yeah, but I'm not even saying that substance dualism explains it better. I'm just talking about a broad dualism. So we could be talking about
Yeah,
subject to
okay,
body
you're talking
dualism
about,
or
I
property
understand you're like
dualism.
on the negation, right? That doesn't matter. Okay, I got this, I got what you mean by explanatory power. So with that being the case, I would love for you to give me an example of something that physicalism doesn't account for. Because my account of reductive physicalism, not physicalism, sorry, is just going to be that, I mean, I just think that there's a specific brain state and chemical process that can account for a particular mental state. Like I would just posit, you know, there are several instances where mental states and experiences can directly be explained by physical brain, or not sorry, by physical processes. Like if you want me to give some, I can list them now
No,
because
so
I know like maybe two off the top of my head.
yeah, you can list some, but I'd also like to say that um, I already gave my example. I already gave an example in which it definitely seems dualism would have much more explanatory power than physicalism. So I gave the example of first person introspective facts versus third person non-introspective
Yeah,
facts
okay.
in
And
which,
wait, are you talking about qualia?
yeah, I'm talking about qualia and consciousness experience and subjective experience.
Okay, when you talk about qualia, right? You're just referring to like the subjective first person experiences of consciousness, right?
hmm
Yeah, so like what it feels to like what it feels like to have certain sensory experiences, correct?
I mean, yeah, you could describe it like that.
Okay, with that being the case, I just think that you can reduce qualia into some brain state and phenomena because all I take sensory experiences to be are things that are obviously dependent on the five senses.
Wait, so wait, that wouldn't wait. Okay, so that wouldn't explain. That doesn't explain anything. That's just making an assertion. You can't just make assertions about things and say that that's an explanation.
You said, wait, oh my God, hold on. Give me a second, actually. I'm gonna drink some water and be right back.
Shikyo, who do you think's winning this rhetorically outstanding conversation?
The cord broke, but I was not listening.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
the little mind debates are like annoying to me. I'll listen later if it's contentious a little bit. But anyways, Rizzhan, how are you feeling about the tier list?
What tier list?
In chat?
One sec. Um. Again, I still don't see why I'm below like people like Makima or Infinity. Like, I actually don't see
Well,
why Infinity is
Infinity
that
has done
high.
more. Infinity has done more. I'm pretty sure he beat Gios. And that's the same reason why Sakazuki's up there. So,
Okay.
he has to be up there as well.
Um.
Like, if you think about it, like, really hard, Sakazuki and Infinity have done the same thing. Like, they're both the same debater in
Um.
feats. One just, like, gibberates more. And then,
I don't see like reasons
uh,
for a lot of these
Rizzhan, you
placements.
should be above Makima.
I
I can
mean,
give
like
you reasons for a lot.
a lot of these placements. So, for example, I don't see why in any possible world inspiring philosophy would be below synth or Detroit.
What's it called? Inspiring Philosophy. I haven't watched enough
Okay,
of
I'm
him,
back.
but you said that he never lost a debate on rec. I haven't
Yeah.
watched enough of him, but
Like
he's pretty decent.
he schooled Destiny, like Destiny like conceded like 5 minutes into opening statements because he just didn't know what inspiring philosophy was talking about. Um,
Oh shit.
like if synth is going, let's say that synth is like mid high diffing Destiny, and if inspiring philosophy is like no low diffing Destiny, I definitely think that we should reconsider the placements in tier 0.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe. All right.
Yeah, I
You
can't
guys can go
lie. If
back
you're
to it.
like going high diff with somebody and then the other guy like no diff some 5 minutes in the opening statements, that's like a gap. That might be tier gap, but that's me.
I'll reconsider it. But
But
you guys
yeah,
can go back.
Richon, we can continue our debate.
Okay,
You can just like, cause I mean, I just do this because I don't know like how you debate, but I'll just disregard anything that was said while I was gone.
I didn't say anything when you were gone.
hmm But yeah, where do we leave off? I think we left off at accounting for things that okay. I was talking about uh, qualia. I think can be, you know, I think qualia, which is subjective experiences, can be, I guess grounded down into these these physical brain states with these chemical reactions. Because when you look at what subjective experiences are, for example, let's say someone punching you in the face, you would agree that's a subjective experience, right?
The feeling of getting punched in the face is a subjective experience, but me getting punched in the face is a third person experience. It's not necessarily subjective.
Okay, then what do you take a first person account to be then?
A first person experience, I just normally take it to be us experiencing X thing and X thing somehow relating to our mind in a way that we see is somehow causing the current feeling or the current phenomena that is happening right now. So
Uh-huh. Okay.
a lot of epistemologists like David Hume will say that certain objects in our mind independent experience actually cause sense data, and so that's how that's how I'd say what a subjective experience is.
Okay. That explanation isn't very informative, but you could just give an example to go with it.
Yes, I already gave my example. So epistemologists like David Hume will say that certain
Oh my
objects in
God.
our
Give
experience.
an example. Okay, listen. Give a explanatory example.
Wait, what do you
Not
mean by an
okay, like
explanatory
David Hughes
example?
says, like I don't care about what he accounts it to be. I'm saying give an example.
What this is an example of what a philosopher thinks that subjective
Oh
experience
my
and
God.
mind
Give
independent
a
experience have to do with each other.
you Rizzhan, can you equate this thing with any real life scenario or any fictional scenario?
Well, I just equated it with a real life scenario in that we have mind independent objects which cause certain sense data and certain subjective experiences to occur.
Mind independent objects like what?
What?
Oh my God. I'm searching for
We're
an
just talking
object, so I'm trying to
about
fish
no.
out
So
something
here,
of example
I'm just
from
talking
you.
about any
What
mind
would you take
independent
a mind
object.
independent object to be?
I'm just taking any mind independent objective experience. So, for example,
Holy shit,
again,
you got it
when
started.
I see an apple, that apple is causing some subjective experience in the subject, which is me. And that subjective experience
Okay.
is dependent on that apple or is dependent on what the person is observing. So, subjective experience can arise out of physical phenomena, but I don't believe that that's going to lead to subjective experience being something that is physical.
Okay. So your example of this thing, right, is going to be an apple. You seeing an apple falling from a tree, yes or no?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so that's fine. That's all I needed, right? Was a little example. So with that being the case, right, I now understand that what you are saying does not attack what I'm saying. Because I'm saying that in the action of seeing this apple fall from the tree, all that is like qualitative of is you experiencing some type of let's say sense, right, or some type of physical reaction within the brain. I think that would just go with sight, right, because you're seeing the apple fall from the tree. Now I don't really care to get into like all the mumbo jumbo you're going to talk about. It's not relevant here, but my main point here is that you see that apple fall from a tree, which you designed or at least assign a label of qualia onto, would just be some physical process in the brain or mind or in the body, which is fine.
Wait, but that isn't just attacking what I said, which is that it seems that reductive physicalism has less explanatory power than
Okay,
dualism.
I
That
know
doesn't
you're
attack what I
claiming that,
said.
right?
That's
That's
just
fine,
another
but I'm
assertion.
saying
That's
I've already
just another
explained
assertion,
why
right?
it's
Wait,
different.
hero, 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 hero,
In the way
hero,
that we
hero,
take
hero.
it.
Let me finish. Let me
So
finish. Let me
listen,
finish.
listen.
Let me
I already know
finish.
what you're gonna say because
No,
you
no,
said it
hero,
twice
you
by
don't know what
accident.
I'm going to say though. You can't just have some precog of what I'm
I
going to
do,
say.
I
But what I
do,
was
I
going to
do.
say is that
You're like
no,
rambling
hero.
right
What I was going to say is that physical processes or physical states being the cause, or physical processes and physical states being something that mental states will arise out of, is perfectly compatible with dualism, namely two types of dualism, which is predicate dualism and property dualism. So a property dualist could just hold that our non-physical mental states are going to arise out of these physical processes, and they may supervene on these physical processes, but are not identical to these physical processes, nor can they be reduced to these physical processes. So you're not
Okay, and
giving
that's
any
where
evidence.
they're
You're
not.
not giving
Hey,
any
okay,
evidence
that's
for
where they're not
reductive
compatible. Like
physicalism.
Rizzhan, you just yeah,
This
Rizzhan,
isn't
you just
any
voted on
evidence for
yourself.
reductive
You said they
physicalism.
can't be. You said they can't be reduced into these physical states. Well, you literally just voted on yourself because that's literally my argument, right? That's my whole stance. Reductive physicalism, that these things are
Yeah, I'm
reducible to
saying
these
no, no, no. Hero, hero,
physical
hero,
phenomena.
hero, hero,
But what
hero,
you're talking about,
hero,
shut up,
hero,
Rizzhan,
hero.
shut
Let
up,
me
shut up,
finish.
shut up.
Hero, hero, hero,
No, listen,
hero,
no,
hero, 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 hero.
listen. Because
No, I
listen,
never.
you got a
Hero,
crowd and
hero.
everything.
You're just misinterpreting what I
So
said.
yeah,
Hero, you're
listen, listen,
misinterpreting what I said.
so what I said, right?
No, you're
Rizzhan, listen.
misinterpreting what I
What I
said.
said, right?
You're just strawmanning
I'm
what
sorry.
I
Just calm
said.
down,
Like, let
bro.
me finish.
Rizzhan, I know you're scared. Just calm down. What I said, right,
Well, I'm
is
not scared.
you saying that these things don't account for this explanation, which is going to be that these things are reducible into physical state. Doesn't
No,
matter. It's
no,
just going to be
hero,
another
hero.
negation,
That's
which is
that's
fine. I
not the
don't
same
care about
thing.
that.
No,
What I'm
hero,
telling
hero,
you,
hero, hero, hero.
Rizzhan,
That's not the same
what I'm
thing.
telling
No,
you,
oh my God, hero,
oh
hero.
my
Let me
God,
let me let me actually get my
Rizzhan,
point
shut up.
across because you're
Shut
just
up.
being disingenuous. So actually, let me get
No,
my
I'm
point
literally not.
across.
Yeah, the funny thing is you're talking over me, talking about disingenuous.
What?
Like, calm
You're
down.
the one talking over
Yeah,
me.
what?
Like you've
Oh
been
my God,
talking
you're
for.
talking over me,
I
talking
gave you
about
a time to
disingenuous.
speak. Like
Like,
just let me because you strawman me
no,
multiple
you literally
times.
didn't. You started over
You
talking
strawman
me
me
once the
multiple
crowd ran.
times.
Like, I'm gonna need you to simmer down.
No, you
So
strawman
as
me
I said
multiple times.
prior,
So
right?
actually, let me get my
If
point
you're going,
across.
listen, I didn't even give a rebuttal.
What?
You can actually see. I was
I'm not gonna
talking and
listen if you keep trying
you
to
started
actively
backing up
overtalk
because
me.
you know you didn't.
I'm not
Fine.
going to listen
So
to what
shut the
you're
fuck
going to
up and let
say
me
because
now.
you're just
Okay,
misrepresenting my
idiot.
argument. I'm not gonna let you get into a debate or
Okay, I
discussion with
don't.
me, then misrepresent my
Oh
argument
my
and not
God, I
let me
don't
point
care,
out that you're
Rizzhan. I don't care. I'm
misrepresenting
not
my argument.
giving your
So
argument.
you're
You're
actually gonna let
arguing.
me
You don't even
finish.
have a position. You're literally on the negation because you named at least three, and I do mean three positions. So you don't. You're not committing to any position right now. You're just negating what I'm saying, which is fine.
Wait.
We
So
can
hero,
continue.
so then let me actually clarify something, and then you can actually attack it. So
Oh
if you
my
actually let me give the
God, no, I don't
clarification,
need the
no, if you
yeah, I
actually let
don't
me
need the
give the
clarification.
clarification, if you actually
Why are
let
you
me
not
give the
letting me speak?
clarification
Yeah, I
from my
don't need
point, if you
clarification.
actually let me give the clarification from my point and what I was saying, then you can attack it. That's how we're gonna go. Anyways, me saying that physical processes can arise out of mental phenomena can arise out of physical processes isn't the same as me saying that mental processes are going to be that which are reducible or identical to physical phenomena. There's many phenomena that we observe that arise out of X process, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be reducible to X process because when the reductive physicalist says that X is reducible to Y, they're saying that X is identical to Y. But for example, if a certain chemical arises out of X chemical reaction, it doesn't mean that that chemical is identical to the chemical reaction. It just means that it supervenes or is dependent on that chemical reaction. Hence why I'm saying that it's perfectly coherent for a property dualist or a dualist to assert that mental phenomena arise out of physical phenomena, but they're not reducible to physical phenomena. You just have a basic misunderstanding of philosophy of the mind.
Okay, yeah, I don't really, that's not relevant because it's still not going against what I said. What you are saying and what you verbatim said, and it's on rec, is these things, okay, you said these things aren't going to, I guess, go against what, or at least my position isn't going to go against what you said, or at least other positions in philosophy of the mind. They're compatible. You said they're compatible, but these things which you named property dualism, and I think you said
I said
predicate
predicate
dualism or
dualism.
something like that. You said, listen, you said that these things are compatible, but those two stances just have more explanatory power. And then we went into what explanatory power is, which
Where I
is
never said
just
no
explaining.
no here I
Okay,
never said that
listen. Oh
property
my God,
dualism was
retard.
compatible
Listen.
with reductive
Please shut the
physicalism.
fuck up. Please shut.
I never said
Please shut.
property dualism was compatible with reductive
Please shut the
physicalism.
fuck up.
I literally gave a
Yeah.
definition
Please
of
shut the fuck
property
up.
dualism in which they hold that mental states are not going to be reducible to physical states, but mental states are going to be emergent out of physical states. So can you actually track what I'm saying instead of misrepresenting and strawmanning my argument constantly? Because I'm not going to engage in a debate with you where you constantly misrepresent my argument and you can't grasp the basic concepts of what my argument is actually trying to say.
Yeah, it's not me not grasping these things. It's you just being retarded and trying to backpedal. That is verbatim what you said. Your
I'm not
whole
trying to
argument is
backpedal.
you don't
You're a
listen. Oh
retard.
my
No,
God,
hero, you're a
retard.
retard. You're a retard because I'm going to
Oh
demonstrate why
my,
you're a
you're
retard right now. I
yeah,
can
you
stream the
can, yeah, you
recording.
can.
No, hero,
Well,
I
I'm
can
telling you
stream the
that you
recording
don't have
right
a
now
position.
and
Your
I can
position
show
is
you
negating what I'm
that. No,
saying.
no,
You're
no, no,
on
no,
the
hero,
negation
hero,
here.
hero, hero,
You
hero.
are bringing up
You're a
instances
retard.
where
Hero,
reductive
you're a
physicalism
retard.
isn't the
You're the
best
retard here. I'm
example, or
not
at
the
least the
retard
best
because
chance to
you
go
just
toward
can't
explaining things
grasp or you
regarding
just
free will of
can't
the mind.
understand what I'm
Now,
trying to
I
say.
asked, and we went into this earlier. It's on rec. We went into what
Yeah,
explanatory
it's
power
on
is.
rec.
We
I
went
can
into all of
stream
that.
rec right
And
now.
it
I
boiled
can
down
stream
to
the rec
you
right now.
said an apple falling from a tree or you seeing an apple falling from a tree is a subjective experience, which is quality. I said, okay, it can be a subjective experience, and this thing can still be explained by some physical process in on the body, aka sight. You are being a retard by trying to say, oh well, there's just these other things that are also accounted by when you talk about seeing things. And I said, okay, I don't care. We can go into whether or not they have more explanatory power because mine is just favored by ontological parsimony, which we already went over as well. I don't know why you're trying to backpedal so easy. Like I
Nobody's
don't know why
trying
you're
to
trying to backpedal
backpedal.
so
No,
frantically.
hero, nobody's trying to backpedal. What you said or what you tried to insinuate was that if physical processes are going to be something that mental states or mental processes supervene on or are dependent on, then it means mental states are reducible to physical states, which is just false, because when the reductive physicalist uses the word reducible, they're talking about identity, they're making an identity claim. But just because X process gives rise to Y process, it doesn't mean that those two processes are identical. I gave the example of a chemical reaction and a chemical. A certain compound or chemical may arise out of X chemical reaction, but it doesn't mean that that compound is going to be identical to that chemical reaction.
Okay, listen. I'm telling you right now. Okay, you know what? This is fine. I'm telling you right now, what you are saying is not going to help. You are just saying that, oh, well, you can't really say there is some specific chemical compound and some specific brain state. But I'm saying, yeah, based on other accounts of there being things such as mental states being able to be explained by this thing, we can. I think it's more likely. I don't see why you need to go on this random tangent about explanatory power when all you're literally doing is presupposing that the explanatory power is missing here. Because we went over this. We went over this earlier.
Yeah,
I
and
said,
I'm not
if
presupposing that the explanatory power is missing. I gave multiple examples for why reductive physicalism just wouldn't have much more explanatory power than dualism, because dualism can actually explain stuff like qualia,
and what
stuff
you
like
did
consciousness. It can
literally
actually
went,
account for
I
stuff like
don't care,
knowledge
what's her
arguments.
name was?
Reductive physicalism crumbles when you get to knowledge arguments. It crumbles when you get to knowledge arguments, right? Because I can actually gain knowledge of third person non-indexical facts or third person non-introspective facts without gaining knowledge of first person identical facts. First person introspective facts. Now, if I can gain knowledge of one fact and not gain knowledge of the other, it means those two things aren't identical, and hence mental states and physical states aren't identical, right? So then the reductive physicalists would just crumble, or reductive physicalism would just crumble under such an argument. And I'm saying that dualism can deal with such an argument because dualism already has the position that physical states aren't going to be that which are reducible to mental states. So you're just a retard, you just can't grasp what I'm saying. And we also need
Oh
to
my
get back
God,
to
I
the
literally
argument. No,
repeated
here,
it
let
to
me
you. I
finish.
know what such
No, here, let me finish.
Rizzhan, I know what
Here,
such
let me finish.
dualism
Let me
is,
finish.
Rizzhan. I
We
literally
also
ran the
need
argument more
to get
times
back
than
to
you
the
can
argument
calm and
because
debate
your
it.
argument
What
doesn't
I
even
told you,
conclude
right,
that reductive
if it's
physicalism
going
is
to be the
true.
case, listen, Rizzhan, I said what's going to be the case, right, is if you're saying that my position doesn't have as much explanatory power. Like, let me just read you out your argument, right? Your argument is that my position, which is reductive physicalism, lacks explanatory power when compared to these other positions. Yes or no?
That was my argument, yeah.
Oh my God, then what's the argument? Please clarify, since apparently
I
I'm just
said
lost.
that
Yeah,
was
clarify
my
the argument.
argument, you retard. Can't you hear what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, okay, sure. My fault. I misheard. So we can go on, right? If this is the case, then I said we can present to you some things which you don't think reductive physicalism, covers. You said, well, I just think in accounts of like first-hand accounts or like qualia, basically. Now I said, okay, I do think qualia does. Give me an example of qualia. You went on this ramble fest, and then and then it dwindled down to being just, let's say I see an apple fall from a tree. Now, I said, okay, I can reduce that to physical phenomena because an apple falling from a tree is literally you've seen something fall from the tree, which I can, equivalent with you
No,
seeing
you
the
can't
light,
say
the
that. No, no,
wavelength
no, no,
of
no.
light. Listen,
Hero.
no,
The
listen,
problem is,
listen,
no,
listen. No,
The
no,
problem is that,
yeah, you're
no, the
trying to ape
problem
out now.
is that, no,
Yeah,
the problem is that
yeah,
saying that mental states,
yeah, we're
no, no,
I know
the problem
you're
is that saying
stop
that mental
doing
states
that,
are
right?
caused by physical
I
states
said that
is no
these
problem for
states,
the
right, these
dualist.
colors you see
That's not
are just
argument for
reducible
reductive
to
physicalism
physical
because
phenomena
reductive
because seeing
physicalism
color is a
makes an
physical
identity
phenomenon.
claim. It states
Now,
that
what you
mental
brought it
states are
up as,
identical to
oh,
physical
well,
states.
that's different
Mental states
because
being
such
caused
as
by
dualism
physical states is
actually
not the
has
same as
more
mental states
explanatory power.
being
And I
identical
say,
to
why does
physical
it
states.
have more
These are
explanatory
two
power? And you
very
say, because it doesn't
distinct
do
propositions.
socialism,
They're very
okay, well,
different
reductive
propositions, but you just
physicalism
can't
even
grab a hold of that.
exposes extra
And
light.
mental states being
Even
caused by
I'm
physical
talking
states, again,
personally.
are
I don't see
compatible with
why I
dualism,
see
especially property
arguments
dualism
that
and
don't know what
predicate
you're talking
dualism,
about.
which hold that mental states arise or emergent from physical states, right? So you making the assertion or it being somehow proved that physical states cause mental phenomena doesn't actually give evidence for reductive physicalism, because again, reductive physicalism makes an identity claim between mental states and physical states. They say that mental states are identical to physical states, not that mental states are just merely caused by physical states. And again, we can go back to your argument, right? I don't see how you concluding that reductive physicalism is more ontologically parsimonious is actually evidence for reductive physicalism, or actually boost the truth probability of reductive physicalism being the case. You haven't actually given any evidence for reductive physicalism. You just said that the mental states are going to be that which are explained by physical states, which is again compatible with dualism and compatible with other theories of mind and philosophy of the mind. So can you actually give evidence for why mental states are not merely just going to be caused by physical states, but are actually identical to physical states?
Yeah, hold on. Let me invite some people that want to watch me like punch on you real quick. Hold on.
You're the one getting punched on, by the way.
You said what?
I said you're the one getting punched on.